coming together for wholesomeness, for generosity and Dhamma. It's always something beautiful. It's a great gift that the Buddha gave us, all the instructions how to lead a good life, cause for a lot of happiness, different kinds of happiness that we can gain through the Dhamma. The happiness of wholesomeness, it's something very special. But the Dhamma is not only for the pleasant and happy and beautiful things in life. The Buddha also gave us a tool to deal with the realities of life and suffering. And that's really the most profound aspect of the Dhamma. It is something that is not only for the easy and nice things in life, but also for the tough realities. And today I want to talk about life and death, also connected with one of our fellow monks, Vernanda from Czechia. He recently passed away, very unexpectedly. That can happen every day. And luckily we have the Dhamma to deal with that. The Dhamma, as I said, it's not only for happy and light and enjoying the wholesome, but also getting a grip on reality, on life. And one of the things that the Buddha said, everyone, whether we are a monk or a nun or a layman, we should often reflect upon actually 5 things. I'm sure you have heard them before, but it's very good to repeat them. The Buddha really said, abhinyang, often. We should reflect upon that, simply because it's reality. And what are these 5? That we are subject to aging. And all of us who are not young anymore, even when we are young, I mean, all of us, we are beyond our teen years, we notice that we're getting older. The hair is getting gray, or it's getting less, or whichever way we feel. That's just a reality. Then the Buddha said we should reflect on that we're all getting sick. Nobody is spared from that. That's just a fact of life. And we're all going to die. Another one, quite strong reflection, that all that is dear and pleasing to us will change and become separated from us. And the last one, reflection on karma, that we are the owners of our karma, we inherit our karma, we are created by our karma, and whatever karma we do, good or bad, we will be the heirs of that. So in short, that's the 5 reflections that the Buddha wants to do it every day. He talks a little bit more about that. Also to consider, it's not only us, but everyone, wherever we look. Everybody is sitting in the same boat, so to say. And here I think these contemplations on the realities of life can also lead to a lot of compassion when we see it's basically the same for all of us. And if we keep our eyes open, today when coming down the mountain I saw one dead scorpion and one dead snake already. And so it's not only humans, but everyone really. We're basically the same. We are subject to the same things. We're getting older, we're going to die, and we have to get separated from everything that is dear and pleasing to us. Actually, it is natural that these things feel a little bit uncomfortable. And even great monks like the Venerable Ananda, when his esteemed brother in the holy life, Venerable Sariputta, died, he was very distraught and sad and missing him, missing his good qualities. But then the Buddha said, didn't I teach you before that we have to be parted and separated from all that is dear and pleasing to us? And this can do a lot to our lives. Actually reflecting on the realities of life doesn't make our life less nice, less beautiful or less pleasant. But it just gives us a readiness for when things inevitably happen. And as I said before, it can help also create this compassion and more equanimous attitude. Yeah, what do we expect? You know, it's just like it can be very tragic, and usually in the stories of our lives, it is very tragic if somebody dear to us dies. But when we walk across the cemetery, we see hundreds or maybe thousands of people who have lived before, and as the nature of life is, don't live anymore. But the Buddha doesn't leave us with that, luckily. He also tells us how to lead a good life, how to make use of the time. And the last of the 5 reflections on karma. The reflection on karma is not only that, yeah, you know, if we experience suffering in life, it's our karma, but much more it is, how do we live? How do we act? How do we spend our lives wisely, as they are limited? And it may still be 20, 30, 40, 50 years for some of us, maybe more, maybe less. It's really very uncertain. But what we can do, we can use the day and try to live wisely and skillfully and develop what is wholesome, abandon what is unwholesome. So generosity, virtue, very important one. Then we can actually not only be the victims of our own karma, but rely on the goodness that we have created. And nowadays we see many people burning paper money and paper things on the cemetery. But according to the Buddha, that's not really what gives us comfort in lives to come, but our karma. How have we lived? What have we done? How well have we lived? How harmlessly have we lived? And how much good have we done in life? Again, nobody is perfect, and we don't only have good and wholesome states of mind, but it's very important to gather a wealth of wholesomeness and goodness, so that we don't have to be afraid of even death. And that's a quite big one that everybody really tries to somehow forget and get our lives so that it's as far away as possible, but we can't. So it's good to have a good store of goodness, wholesomeness. And the Dhamma gives us another thing. We don't have to rely on our good karma to always experience pleasant feelings. It also gives us tools to be able to deal with unpleasantness and suffering. And one of them is to be ready for it, to be prepared. Another one is to develop this passion. Yeah, that's also a very deep aspect of the Dhamma, not only doing good, but also lessening our attachments, lessening our wrong expectations, and developing things like this passion and letting go. And contemplations like this, these 5 small contemplations, can definitely help with that. And the Buddha says in the same sutta that the path is born when we reflect again and again on that. So the path of the Dhamma, based on virtue, based on wholesome things, also basically understanding the reality of life and developing compassion, but also dispassion, like seeing that life has its nature, and lessening our attachments and our cravings and our holding on to things, actually leads to less suffering and more happiness. A Dhamma happiness, a happiness that is connected with letting go. So all the goodness gathered we can use in order to move more and more to living in tune with reality, leading good and wholesome lives, and coming closer and closer to the happiness of peace that the Buddha developed, unshakable. Like Venerable Ananda, one of the examples, he was not an arahant yet, but the other monks who were so far, of course they were not moved when the Venerable Sariputta passed away, even when the Buddha passed away. Even though the Buddha recognized that when you lose somebody precious in your life, there's a lack, there's something missing, but it doesn't need to lead to suffering. So that's something that the Dhamma can give us, that deepening of our understanding, deepening of wisdom, and reducing and ultimately eliminating all suffering.